So for you to make a decent living of dairy as a dairy farmer, how much milk do you need to produce in a month?
When you need like a full-time job to be able to be sustainable, you are just a full-time dairy farmer, you need an average of around 18 cows and a production of 10 cows per cycle. That means every day you are milking 10 cows,
at least 10
with
cows.
an average of 20 liters.
Yes.
That means you are able to produce at least not less than 200 liters
on a day.
per day.
Yes.
That one will be sustainable. Will give you some 1, 2, 3 things.
Yes.
Like sustainable for the farm, feeding, and also some small amount of margin.
Yes.
But when it comes to business, in a dairy cow, when you have the 18, they're always calving. So you must have a strategy of also making profit from actually culling some animals per year with a specific margin, which that culling will be 100% profit in a year.
Yes.
So in terms of milk production sustainability, make sure at least 200 liters. That is for people who live in such an environment whereby we are growing our fodder and we don't have a lot of space.
Yes.
So 10 cows that are producing throughout the year, that if for us to be able to achieve that, you have to have 18 cows. That means 60% are producing, so that you can be able to feed yourself, feed the other cows, workers, and also the non-producing cow, because you know, even within the 18, you have the calves, you have the dry cows.
Now, to be able to produce 20 liters on a dairy, it's a component of two aspects. One, quality genetics, and two, definitely it must be high quality feeds. I want us to get into the genetics because we are at a point where people are convinced that to get a high quality cow that is able to produce such numbers and above, it will require you over 150,000 upwards, up to 400,000. The prices are crazy nowadays. So I am not in a position to afford that. What I can get is a cow that is worth 50,000, a nice heifer and I have time, that I am willing to take my time and improve based on the qualities that I require to a point where it can cost as much as what is the market value for a good dairy cow right now. So with my 50,000 shillings or below cow, how do I get that animal to produce from the current 5 liters or 3 liters a day to 20 liters in a day in a span of about 6-7 years?
One thing, that is a question like someone who want to start from zero.
Yes.
And you have to know several things before you even start your own cow journey.
Yes.
First of all, know the kind of cow you want.
Yes.
Know the characteristics of that good cow. May it be how small it is.
Yes.
Not about the money. We are talking about the quality of that cow.
Yes.
Then, know the fodder. So, if the aspect of fodder, you know the quality of fodder that you want to keep, you will be able to put genetics at the right place.
Yes.
Feeding takes 70% of the production of a cow. Genetics takes 30.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
So, if the 30 is not kept in the correct environment, can be lost. So, even if that cow is producing 5 to 3 liters,
yes,
genetics and feeding have to go together. Are you together?
Yes.
Now, for example, now you have purchased that heifer. Feeding must be key. For it to be able to come on heat at the right time.
Yes.
For it to be able to give you a calf every year.
Yes.
And for you now to improve, for example, that you have purchased that 20 for that heifer or that calf, you are able to rear it until you serve it for the first time. And from the first time it calves, it produces probably the 15 liters.
Yes.
And you are properly feeding it.
Yes.
Now that is where we are going now to join in terms of genetics. And for you to now join in terms of genetics, we are going to improve not only milk, but also the negative traits in your own cow. For example, the reason that cow is not producing probably enough milk is because it's a small stature cow. It's a very short cow and does not have strong legs.
Yes.
Now, we are not just going to serve the cow because we need an AI of 10,000 or 15,000 or 6 semen. We are going to check on the characteristics of the mother that we don't want, and look on the characteristics of the father that we want to be incorporated and be available to the offsprings.
Yes.
Now, when you decide now it's time to select, the easiest way to actually achieve a cow that is producing very well, that has very good genetics, is actually by using sex semen. Because now there's no risking, sex semen is around 95% conception. So you'll get there faster. If you know how to feed,
yes,
you'll get there faster, because now if your cow is giving birth every year,
yes,
that means within 6 years, if you're consistently 6, 7 years, 8, you're able to achieve a pedigree. But now, this pedigree, is it suitable to your environment? And that is how we come now to select the best cow that is producing, but also very good at your own environment. You can have a pedigree,
yes,
but has a lot of issues of mastitis. You can produce a pedigree, but have a lot of issues about the hooves. You can produce a pedigree, but has a very issues of conception.
yes.
Now, from your heifer that you started with, and it conceived for the first time,
Yes.
by milking, you'll now know the positive and the negative characteristics.
Yes.
Okay, is this cow prone to mastitis? You keep the records. So the next time I'm serving, so that the offsprings will not have these characteristics, I will look at a cow that has low somatic cells. That is a bull. So that I can serve, the genetics will be 50-50.
Yes.
So if this was producing 70% somatic, this was producing 30%, we'll meet at 100. So meaning the offsprings will have 50, which is less than the mother. Come to milk production. This cow, it produced probably a peak of 20 liters.
Yes.
That means an average came to around 15 liters. That is average production for that duration. So you need to increase this for business purposes. Now you are going to look for a cow that also has high milk production per lactation cycle. So that if this was producing an average of 1,000 liters and the bull that you are giving is able to produce at least an average of 5,000, you will meet at the middle and you will increase the offsprings that will be able to produce at least 3,000.
Yes.
So if you do that consistently, and also don't forgetting the feeding aspect, you will be able to achieve your pedigree cow that is productive and suitable to your environment.
Yes.
And also with less disadvantaged characteristics that are in it.
Yes.
A high producing cow requires more in terms of nutrients.
Oh, okay. Not
For
the
example,
biomass, not just the biomass.
Not just the biomass, in terms of nutrients. Because, okay, the biomass, in terms of dry matter content, we look at around 3 to 4% of the body weight.
Yes.
But now in terms of the nutrients, for example, a cow that is producing 10 liters, 15 liters to 20, we require crude protein of around 14%. But a cow that is producing 25 liters to 30, about 35 and above, we require crude protein of around 18. So that we can have digestible crude protein to around 15. That is used by the cow. So they require differences. When it comes to energy levels, a cow that is producing 15 liters will probably go for around 4,600 kilocalories per day. Per kg of the feeds you're feeding. But now when it comes to a cow that is producing those 30 liters, 40 liters, the more the energy level, the more the calories requirement in it. So, and also, the higher the producing the cow, the more the risks. In terms of diseases, because a cow producing 40 liters and you're not managing it well, high chances of mastitis are available. High chances, if you don't manage it well, high chances of milk fever. So, that is why sometimes I advise farmers, if you are new, start from an average cow that is going to give you at least a margin, you see, and you have some profit in it, but also you can grow. So that by the time you get 40 liters or 50 liters, you know how to manage that cow. Instead of directly going, you are new, you go directly buy a cow that is producing 40 liters. The nutrition value of it aspect, very low. So by the time it's calving, you're the first person to be hit with milk fever, ng'ombe haiamuki. You're the first person to have issues of mastitis because you're not able to control this. You're the first person to talk about issues of conception because the higher the production, the conception rate becomes an issue a bit, so it needs some nutrition additives and much more to be able to sustain.
For someone who's trying to improve that, which is the right question to ask your AI vet in terms of the originality of the straw?
Well, one thing I always do is, and I'm sorry to say this, a lot of the vets that we have, a lot of the vets that are actually AI technicians that we have, most of them do not know how to even read a catalog. That's a that's a disadvantage to most farmers. And if they know, they do not actually take precaution on that and tell a farmer, we're not going to serve this cow because of this and that.
Yes, yes.
For them, it's about how much straw, how much are you charging?
Yeah.
So I advise my farmers. Nowadays, there's a phone. And one thing is, if this cow, for example, this heifer comes on it right now,
Yes.
we still have 18 hours to actually serve it.
Yes.
So you have a period of 18 hours
Yes.
to select your own
Proper-
AI.
Yes.
So what you do is, for me, what I advise them, if you are not able to access the catalogs and all that, and you are not able to be explained, just go to your phone. Call the vet that is supposed to inseminate that cow.
Yes.
Ask him the question, which AI do you have?
Okay.
And specifically the names, because the names of the bull and the numbers are always different. For example, if he tells you, I have a cow by the name Ted from Worldwide Sire, I'm John from another company. There is no another name in Ted and a Worldwide Sire. Are you together?
Yes.
Now what you'll do is, get the names that you are given and the company. He'll tell you, okay, I have a local breed from Kari that is named by this. I have an imported one that is called this. Just write around 5 of them. Take your phone. Just go and Google. You have been told there is a cow by the name Ted and a Worldwide Sire. Just go and Google that. It will bring the characteristics of that cow. And if you are not able to interpret that, it's already interpreted for you in the catalog that is online. You'll get what is a PTA, potential transmission, whatever. So you can read those abbreviations. They are always indicating. So when selecting the 18 hours, you'll be able, out of the 5 or 6 AIs that you have been given, select which suits your cow. Then tell your vet, ukikuja, when coming to serve the cow, kindly bring me John, bring me Kamau, bring me this.
Yes.
And when he comes, you can be able to confirm by the name. This is by the name that you want.
Yes.
And you have already selected.
Yes.
But for people who have more cows and able to access catalogs, it's easier. But if you don't, even if you have one cow, it's as simple as that. The online thing brought a lot of ease in the activity. And it's about Googling, compare, select. Tell him, come with this.
Yes. But this is something that you have to do yourself.
You have to do it yourself. Unless now you have a vet that you trust, a vet who is actually determined.
Yes.
If you have that in your farm, you're a very lucky person.
Yes.
But a lot of vets do not have the time. They can let's call it the time. Because he needs to be serve my cow today. He needs to serve my neighbors. He needs to treat another one in somewhere else. He needs to be somewhere else. So for him is, how much? Just come, it's a minute, done.
So you know your cow better than your vet. Obviously.
Yes, you know your cow much better.
You are in a better position to determine which straw is better.
Which straw is better for you.
For you.
So, and the other thing that makes you actually know your cow is about record. Keep a good record. And the record is not something complicated.
Yes.
Has your cow been treated about mastitis today? Indicate. Has mastitis with this medication?
Yes.
And has it repeated? So if it repeats 1-2 times and you do the checklist, is it hygiene? We do clean. Do we disinfect? We do disinfect. So issues can be the somatic cells, or even take the milk to the lab. It will tell you about the somatic cells. So it will be easier making that decision. Your cow, is it difficult in conception? How is your feed? You're feeding it very well. You're providing all the mineral salts, but it gets to heat after calving. It goes for around 8 months, 1 year.
Yes.
And if that is the issue, you'll be looking for something that has high fertility.
Yes.
So, and all that is indicated on the catalog, which you can easily get it online by just Googling.
Nice. So speaking of records, I recently saw you with a record card that you are providing to farmers.
Yes.
I would like to get a bit of details on that. You see which kind of records you keep, and you also give an opportunity to whoever is might be in need of it to reach out to you and get a copy of it.
A lot of people were asking me, how do I keep record? And for them, it's quite hard because you'll tell someone, go and write a book and have a black book, indicate diseases, indicate production, indicate feeding. Now, after I realized that, yet for us we've been using a card, I decided like, what if I can share the same card with other farmers?
Yes.
The name of the cow, dates, and if you dispose that cow, how was it disposed? And the reasons for disposal you can also indicate. Now, when it comes to sire, is the father, the mothers, the dam, the granddaughters, to keep the records of the breeding aspect. Now, the breeding records. For example, you have a calf and it gets to the first weight when it was served. You'll indicate. For example, you served your cow at 300 kgs. You'll indicate that. Heat date. If your cow comes on heat right now, you indicate it came on heat this date. That's our date of air bull served. For example, it came on heat on 8th, 12th of 2023. And you served it the same day. You indicate. Then pregnancy diagnosis date. You call a vet, actually does a pregnancy diagnosis to determine if the cow is pregnant, you indicate. And the date you dried off. If it gives birth, you are able to indicate sex and the number of calves it calved and date of calving. And then the calf itself, calving interval. Is it the first time? This is the second time. And the remark. Was it difficult in calving? Easy in calving? Did it have a milk fever? Or that? Then, so you can imagine how many you can actually indicate that side.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Then the production record. Here, you don't fill it every day. What you do is, you have a separate book whereby you indicate your daily milk. You milk in the morning, afternoon, like that. But there is what you call lactation period. In the first lactation, probably you have your cow that calved for the first time. You have been recording all the milk that you have been recording. At the end of the first lactation, when you first you start doing drying, you do the total and indicate that cow, date calved, this date, kgs of milk produced in that lactation period. If you are you actually doing, you have recorded, your cows are registered under the Kenya Breeders Association, you can actually be taking your milk to the lab to determine the butterfat content and kg per butterfat content and days. Are we together? Then you can continue until your cows calves the 10th time, the 10th lactation period.
So this is for an individual cow, yeah?
This is for an individual cow. Then the other thing is about the general records. You can indicate a date, probably a cow was affected by mastitis, diagnosis, symptoms, treatment given, and remark. And this is a very important point because, for example, you have a vet that always treats your cow, and we treated it the last time, and he came to the what do you call it? He came to your farm, and probably is not available. Your regular vet is not available, and another vet has to come for him to be able to know what is the issue with that cow, if that disease is recurrent, he can, and be able to actually tell you if it is post or not. He'll come and check on your records when this disease was treated. And for you even, for example, a disease appears here 3-4 times within an year. My friend, you have to rethink twice on that disease. And if you do not have the record, how will you know about that? The next thing is about vaccination. The normal vaccination that we always have. If you do a vaccination, let's say for lumpy skin, you indicate the date. If you do a vaccination of the foot and mouth, you indicate the date. The other thing is about deworming. And here is where a lot of people actually go wrong with. So that you cannot repeat the same dewormer regularly. You have to indicate. For example, the dewormer you treated it today, you decide to use a certain dewormer, which we are not marketing any company. Probably you decide to use a dewormer with a levamiso. You will indicate here the levamiso you used and the date. If you repeat it again, you will indicate just the date next to it. Next to it. And when you come to another dewormer, you interchange the dewormer and go to probably an albendazole. You will indicate the date. If you repeat that, you will indicate. And for you to know what you are going to deworm with next time, you will just come and actually check on your record, has the dewormer been repeated twice, thrice, or how many times, to avoid resistance, which can actually be a problem in your farm. So now, from this record, you can be able to know your cow in terms of lactation period. How much milk did you produce? So how much money did you actually get from that lactation period? Is it business? If not, are you going to dispose? If your cow has health issues, how many times did you treat it? Is the disease recurrent? If it's recurrent, how can you tackle it? If it's not able, you cannot be able to tackle it. You can be able to make a decision to cull it. Then, if it's about vaccine, if your vaccine is required to be done after every 6 months, you can be able to be indicating and knowing this vaccine is supposed to be done at this time. If it's about deworming, you can be able to know when am I supposed to deworm, which dewormer am I supposed to actually interchange, and to avoid some of these things. One thing is, you'll be able to be precise. You'll be able to actually be able to make decisions in the farm. If someone tells you, I have a pedigree cow, and he asks you, yes, you have registered a pedigree cow, definitely it has a number. And definitely if it's registered, you should have such a card.
The second component is quality feeds. You see, well, in the last several years, we've had a lot of many different fodder crops that are being introduced every other day in our market. And when you look at it, the one thing that the people who are bringing these fodder crops, their selling point is largely biomass and protein. And it can get a little bit confusing to a farmer who is trying to determine the best fodder crop for his area or for his use or for his need, whether it's for the dairy or whether it's for sheep or goats. It's always about what is trending in the market rather than what the actual requirement of a cow is, right, in terms of nutrition. So because of the many options that we have, farmers are getting confused. And I want us to get into the factors that you are considering when you decide which fodder crops to actually plant when you're a dairy farmer.
Okay, for me as a farmer,
yes,
and also what I advise my farmers,
yes,
is several factors. And one of them is, before you decide on a fodder that you are going to have, first of all, know your cow. By knowing your cow, I mean the nutrition requirement of a cow. After realizing that, know your environment, the environment that you are in,
yes,
so that you can be able to determine which crop to grow. And the last thing, ensure the crop you are growing provides the 70% requirement of the cow,
yes,
which is the energy.
yes, yes.
If you can be able to meet those, and the last thing, the fodder that you'll choose can sustain your cow 365 days in a year.
Yes.
Year in,
Yeah.
year out.
Yes.
Those are the things that you're able to determine,
yes,
which fodder to choose.
To choose.
Now, if you know your cow,
yes,
you know the requirement of a cow in terms of energy,
yes,
protein, vitamins, and all that.
yes,
You realize if you need a fodder,
yes,
that will provide the 70% so that you cannot go back to the shop and purchase it,
yes,
which is that. You choose according to your environment.
Yes.
For example, if you decide I'm using Napier,
yes,
what is Napier providing? And if I decide this is what I'm going to use,
yes,
what other thing will I supplement it with
yes,
to be able to maximally produce in that cow? And the last question is, if I decide to use Napier, can I be able to provide the same Napier from January to December without changing the feeds?
yes,
And the fodder security of it, how is it? If you can be able to answer that, you can be able to select the best. The other thing I always caution my farmers, if you need to know, like you are a farmer and you want to experiment other fodders,
yes,
ensure the fodder that you're experimenting
yes,
is not about what you hear.
yes, yes,
It's about what your cow tells you and what you find in the lab.
yes, yes.
You have been told a certain crop has a crude protein of a certain amount.
Yes,
Take that crude protein. Take that product, the crop that you have.
Yes.
Take to the lab.
yes,
Is it? The lab will give you 2 or 3 aspects.
yes,
We'll give you the aspect of the crude protein.
yes,
We and also give you what we call digestible crude protein. Those are 2 different things.
yes.
The crude protein is what the nitrogen available in that crop, multiplied by 6.25. Then the digestible crude protein is what will help your cow. Because in the other side, you can have a product that has 20% crude protein,
yes,
but the digestible crude protein is 2%. So meaning you're wasting 18 through urine and feces. So nothing is helping your cow.
Yes.
And the other trial that is real, take it to your cows. Record each and every production, body condition,
yes,
reproduction on it.
yes,
Does it give you what you want?
yes,
And if it is giving you what you want, go ahead. Because we're here in terms of business purposes.
yes, yes,
And if it is not, choose a crop that is sustainable to you.
yes,
And for me, that's why I use maize silage. Because at my side, maize silage will give me the energy I require without supplementing a lot of maize. Maize silage will give me a considerable amount of crude protein,
yes,
which is around 9%, will give me the energy requirement. Yes, the biomass is not a lot, but maize is readily available. There is no way you can grow maize in Kenya.
yes,
So if I can't be able to grow it myself, I can be able to buy.
yes,
So my fodder security, how is it? Is it available? For me, yes. And one thing is, no, if you feed on poor quality fodder,
Yes.
and you push your cow to produce more,
Yes.
your cost of production will be very high, because you will go the side of the concentrate. And the cost of concentrate side is quite expensive. If you have a very poor fodder, the body condition of your cows will be low.
Yes.
And the moment your body score is low, conception is low.
Low.
Production of milk, low.
Low.
The growth of your calf, low. So if you do your assessment in the farm, in 2 years, 3 years, you realize instead of your calf growing, your calf is always dropping. Because if you buy a cow from somewhere that was well managed, all the nutrients, the body condition was superb. You buy it at 250,000, 300 or wherever amount you're buying it.
Yes.
Then you take it to your place, poor feeds. It depreciates. You start seeing mbavu zote ziko nje. All the ribs, the body score goes down to 2.
Yes.
The value of that cow that was 250 will go as low as 20,000.
Yes.
Which is a loss. And the production will get from those, you bought it at probably 25, 10 liters, 20, will go back to 2 liters production.
Yes.
And instead of giving you a calf every year, you'll be getting a calf every 3 years.
Yes.
Which, in the long run, you don't see, you'll be having the satisfaction of, I'm not buying the expensive feeds. But in terms of business-wise, you'll be going negative every year,
Yes.
every month, and every day. For example, somebody else will say it's a bit cheaper to produce super napier.
Yes.
Because you just need your land, water and manure.
Yes.
And the super napier will actually grow very well.
Yes.
But coming to feeding the cow, how much energy per dry matter content that you are feeding your cow?
Yes.
For example, a cow that needs to feed dry matter content of around 30 kgs, 15 kgs, how much napier will I feed? And in that dry matter content, how much energy does it have and protein to be able to sustain high production? So, if that napier, the napier that you have, is giving you the required energy, and giving you the required protein, and giving you the required vitamins, it will be easier to produce milk.
Yes.
But, for example, if you have a napier that is not giving you enough energy, you have to supplement. And the moment you supplement, and you are going back to the shop to purchase, and you realize, for me to be able to produce the 20 liters of milk, and using napier, I need an extra 4 kgs or 5 of maize flour on top of a dairy meal.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas, for me to produce the same amount, I'll need the I'll need 30 kgs probably of 25 kgs of maize silage that has high energy, and I don't have to add on all those things.
Yes.
I'll just have to feed on my dairy meal.
Yes. Yes.
If you do the cost per liter produced, is it making business sense?
Okay. Paul, you've seen the government trying to insist that we vaccinate, as if we don't. I would like to pick your brain as a farmer who has obviously been farming for the last couple of years. I want to pick your brain on the vaccination program that is being shoved down our throats.
One thing I hate about the vaccination that is allegedly going to be vaccinated, it's because we do not know the context of that vaccination.
Yes, yes.
You can't tell us you want to actually vaccinate for a cow not to produce methane, the gas.
Yes, yes.
How many people are you putting out of business? For example, you have a farm. The methane gas is used to produce biogas.
Yes.
In some farms to reduce the cost of production. So if you vaccinate that cow not to produce the methane gas,
Yes, yes.
what is the implication? That person, you lose the gas, you lose the... Other thing, what I don't like about it is, on my research in the internet, I haven't seen somewhere else the vaccination is being done.
Yes.
So we are guinea pigs.
Actually, that is a good question to ask the viewers. If you're watching from Nigeria, Ghana, or wherever other African countries, have you heard of is your government trying to force down a vaccine on your livestock?
The other thing is, the same vaccine that is being brought to us, actually, there is nowhere we have what we call a public participation, that we are being told, we are doing this for this reason and this and that and
Yes,
that.
yes, yes.
Are you together?
Yes, yes.
And the worst part is, which I think a lot of people don't know about it, is if you incur losses
Yes.
with after or within the duration of the vaccination,
Yes.
the government is not liable for the loss.
That is the challenge.
That is a quote by, and it's there in the law
Yes, yes,
as a bylaw by the government.
yes.
That the losses, in case they come and vaccinate this cow, and you know about the vaccination,
Yes.
and the cow dies,
Yes. They are not
ama
liable.
there are complications within the cow,
Yes,
the government is not liable for
for the loss.
For the
now,
loss.
the other question should be, Paul, have you been vaccinating? Is it a new vaccine? Is foot and mouth a new disease?
One thing, all along, they are what you call the regular vaccines that we have been having.
Yes, yes,
The foot and mouth, anthrax, lambskin, those ones have been there.
yes, yes.
And those ones are crucial for you as a farmer.
Yeah.
Whereby you have to prevent your cows from all those diseases which can kill your cow or sometimes endure a lot of losses.
Yes.
I'm not against that. That we have been doing it since time immemorial, since I
Yeah.
started farming.
So
it has
the-
always been there.
Yeah.
And it has been helpful for us.
Yes.
But now this one, whereby we can't find it anywhere, even in our books,
Yes.
even the veterinary board. Do they have? Do they have? What is this being vaccinated?
Yeah.
What is the implication?
So are you as a farmer, you've not been very well communicated to?
No.
In terms of the contents of the vaccine, what diseases are it's supposed to cover, and who is paying for the vaccine?
Even if one thing I'm telling you, even if the vaccine is free, if it's as a government,
Yes.
the same way, I'll do the same way they do about seeds. For it to satisfy a seed can be sold in the market of Kenya, KEFIS has to plant the seed
Yes.
and actually establish it passes the regulations
Yes.
for being planted.
Yes.
For an AI to be in Kenya, it has to meet the Breeders Association, whatever the regulations that has to be there.
Yes.
What if they want to give us a vaccine? Senior,
Yes.
take them to those research institutes, vaccinate the cows they are using for research.
Yes.
Give us the results after the period that's probably 3 years, 4 years.
Yes.
If it's beneficial
Yes.
and will prevent our cows from doing something that is harmful to the environment,
Yes.
we can take that. But taking that vaccine all the way from wherever it's coming from and direct to the farmers, it keeps a lot of
Risky
questions.
business. Yes.
Because if it affects the cow genetics negatively, we end up losing business.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And that will actually lead to something called monopoly.
Yes.
Because, let me ask you one thing. If right now, they decide to vaccinate all the cows with something you don't know,
Yes.
something negative happens to the cow and production.
Yes.
For those who will be able to bring other cows that are more in terms of production,
Yeah.
they'll be able to determine the cost of milk production and everything.
Yeah.
So someone else will dominate the market.
Yeah. Similarly, for example, there's a new disease that comes out of this as a side effect, and someone brings in the medicine.
The medicine.
They will also sell a lot of medicine out of
I can ask you a very
disease
simple
that
question.
they created.
Fall armyworm in maize. Where did it come from?
Nobody knows.
But we didn't even finish 1 month or 2 without a medication that can treat.
Full armyworm.
But before, you used to plant maize, weed, harvest.
Yes.
What happened? Somebody else is making business out of
Farmers.
farmers. Same way, I can ask you about, I can give you a very good example. Poultry.
Yes.
Poultry, they all call the genetics, that poultry are bred and they are able to actually produce eggs, produce meat. Okay, the hybrid.
Yes. Yes.
When you interbreed the hybrid too much, they start dying of a lot of diseases.
Yes. Yes.
Time immemorial, in your village,
Yes.
how you used to see chicken all over, they never used to die.
Yeah. The
But what
Kenyaji
happens?
ones, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what is happening now? The Kenyaji is becoming extinct.
Yes.
Yet the improved Kenyajis, you breed them a lot, become susceptible to diseases.
Yeah.
You buy a lot of medication from the shops, and in turn, for you not to be affected by this, you have to buy an F1
Yeah.
from a producer.
Certified producer. Yeah.
And Macubine right now, the producers are doing all they can to be able to actually insert genes that cannot be able to be inbred again. For example, you have to buy it as an F1.
Yes.
When you start to breeding it, it has complications. So you'll have to go back to purchasing from them.
So you're buying chicks each and every cycle.
Each and every,
So they ensure business.
they ensure business for them,
You
but
rely
not
on them
business for
chicks for your side.
your side.
So your chicken have a time frame.
Yeah, exactly.
So once you are done with that,
once
batch,
the production is done,
you go back to the market.
you go back to the market.
Yes.
Once this is done, go back, to, the market.
market.
Same with maize. What happened?
Yeah.
Before, my grandma used to hang maize. For last year, you'll plant it this year.
Yes.
Go and try it. The tonnage you'll produce is some maize that are not even producing anything.
Yeah, and
so
it's genetically improved. Yeah.
Yeah, it is making business, but our indigenous market is disappearing. If you bring a GMO right now, what will happen is the market will flood with food.
Yeah.
But we cannot reproduce that GMO.
Yes.
So we'll become slave of the producer.
Yes.
Like for example, you decide we give licenses to people who are producing GMO. There will be a lot of maize in the market, and our cows will be able to feed.
Yes.
Humans will have food. But the GMO that is being brought, can we be able to produce it again? We'll get to a point, the GMO, we cannot be able to reproduce it. So, if we consume what we have, what will happen? We'll have to depend on the producer. So, there is nowhere, the food that will come, yes, you can only grow it once.
Yes.
After it's done, you go and buy the seeds outside.
Yes.
Which means our crop that will be around extinct, and you cannot be able to generate. So what will happen is there will be a time, like after 3-4 years, we are out of food.
So the producer of the seeds dictates how the market.
Now that will be another colonial.
Yeah, food colonization. Yes.
We are getting into colonial whereby you don't have an option.
Yes.
You have to go to buy it to us. Yeah. For that.
Yeah.
We can be able to produce. Yeah. Alternatively, die hungry.
True.
But in the first few years, plenty of food. Because you plant up GMO seeds in 1 acre, you produced 100 bags.
Yes.
But now after 100 bags, you cannot plant the same seeds from that.
You have to go back.
You have to go back.
Yes.
So, and if the person producing decides, we were selling to you last time at 1,000 bob, so this time we are selling at 20,000.
Yes.
You have an option.
No, you have to go back.
And that is how Kenyans are becoming slaves of other things.